Good evening, Trekkers and Trekkers. Trekkers and Trekkers? No. Trekkies and Trekkers. It's time for another episode of Treknicity. You know, that show where we talk about Star Trek and we get all giddy like, for fun. I'm Lars.
And I'm Brandon.
And this time we're talking about Picard, Season 2, Episode 2, Penance. Or is it Comeuppance? We will discuss. We'll discuss indeed. Because I'm disgusted. Oh, wait a minute, hang on. Disgusting. That's that. Wait a minute. No, never mind.
No.
So, anyways, both Brandon and I have just finished watching episode 2 of Picard season 2, where they continued down the rabbit hole.
Yes, they did. And boy, did they go down it.
Yeah. To be honest, I was really excited, and thankfully, no disappointments tonight. John Delancey returns. Actually, sorry, I always forget to do this. If you're watching and you haven't seen any of the episodes, turn back now. Turn back now. Abandon hope, all ye who enter, because this is filled with spoilers.
Don't get it spoiled.
That's right. So, because we're going to talk about everything. So, we see Q return. We kind of have the flashback. We catch up with kind of what happened last episode where Picard shows up on the Stargazer, talks to the Borg, and then boom, and he wakes up back at Chateau Picard. This time, shit's not right. And, yeah, we got to talk about it. But we knew something was going to go down with Q because he showed up in the last 2 minutes of last week's episode. And he was back right at the get-go this time.
Back and better than ever.
Yeah. When Q and Picard had that back and forth sort of thing during the during TNG, it was... it was just kind of like this exchanging, like, I hate you, Q, because you've been so bad to us, so I'm going to not play your stupid games, and I'm going to be all proud about it. This time, he tried the same thing, and Q smacked him down.
Oh, my God, he bloodied his nose.
Which, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but that was a nice little callback to the episode back in season 2 where Q introduces humanity to the Borg. I think it might have been called Q Who. And one thing he says to Picard is that if you can't take a little bloody nose, why don't you go running home? Or something. I know I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense. Oh, that makes total sense. Yeah. And this time he really did give him a bloody nose because he was like, this timeline is for real.
Yeah. Which, it was kind of cool. Of course, we had never truly seen the mirror universe portrayed on screen in the Next Generation. We've seen it in comic books. But, like, wow, okay. Well, let's see what asshole Picard is like.
Yeah, it's always in the future, and it's always like out in space. It's always out in space. The mirror universe. It's never like at the home world.
Right, we never see
Earth. More like they're like Nazi. It's like Nazi Federation.
Yeah, in this, I guess in this time, the Terran Empire is known as the Confederation. I don't know if that's something that changed, because in the past we've always seen like an emperor or empress being in charge, and then like you said, it's always out in space, and we saw it, of course, in the original series where the concept started. That was in space. Then we saw them again in I want to
Discovery.
say Deep Space
it was originally
Nine.
Deep Space Nine. Yeah, Deep Space Nine.
I don't know. I don't recall if we saw the mirror universe in Voyager. I don't think so.
No.
And then We saw them in Enterprise. We saw it in Enterprise, and of course, we've seen it heavily in Discovery. Um,
Oh, yeah, but in Discovery, the timeline takes place before TNG and everything, right? And
initially,
so,
yes, initially. So, um,
yeah, so she was the emperor of the Terran Empire.
right, and that falls in line with what we saw in Enterprise, where spoiler alert, uh, Empress was it Hoshi Sato? She becomes Empress of the Terran Empire, and then in in DS9, I think isn't it Kira ends up becoming the Empress?
Oh yeah, so that actually, so this isn't the mirror universe. Now that I think about it, it's not the mirror universe because Q, they said at the spoilers at the end of the episode, but they said they have to go back in time. Like the Borg Queen literally says Q messed something up at
Yeah,
this exact moment and it changed the timeline.
right.
So
So
actually, this isn't the mirror universe.
yeah, it's an alternate reality,
Yeah,
but it
or
has the
alternate
same
timeline.
look and feel
Yeah, yeah,
as the
yeah,
Mirror Universe.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Everybody are assholes, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
Vulcan is being subjugated, and that
Hmm.
sort of stuff. And there,
And apparently Picard loves to torture aliens.
yeah, exactly. Um, so when Picard kind of comes to his senses, he has this little discussion with Q. Q does the finger snap thing, takes him to
Oh,
his vineyard, um, plays La Vie en Rose on an old style phonograph, and they talk about basically. I think Q's trying to tell him that, dude, I'm trying to help you change. I'm trying to help you evolve, but you keep doing so in every way except the way that is most important. But of course, he's not telling us what way is important because that would just ruin all the fun.
and
Uh,
there's something in the previous ones. It was all playful. Q was like playful, and this one he is not playful. He is like serious. Even his snaps they're
yeah,
hard. They're rough. They're like
yeah. It's like something happened between the last time Picard and Q saw each other, which
hmm
was in um, uh, was the last episode of TNG, and
yeah.
damned if I can um, damned if I can remember the name of the episode, but the very
The things end. Some things
oh
shoot.
yeah,
I
all
can't
good
remember
things.
either. All good things.
So um, yeah, with that being said, the last time they saw each other, it was kind of like a look, if you just open your eyes, you'll see why all this is happening. And it's like finally
Yeah.
he realizes that he was doing it. He had started the whole thing that ends humanity in the future, which somehow ripples through the past and stops life on Earth from actually forming and evolving. Um,
Yeah.
so you would think that next time they see each other, it's kind of like, I mean, you can imagine, you can understand Picard. He's like, dude, I'm old
Yeah.
and I'm
I know.
tired.
I'm over this.
Yes, please, I'm done. We quit with this shit.
Mm.
I'm just tired of it. And Q, something's happened with Q, man. Like he's like, I don't
Yeah.
see. I don't understand. I mean, I hope that they do I guess discuss what happened or what's going on or why things changed.
Yeah.
Did Q do it on purpose? Did he do it on accident? Did he do something he can't
Yeah.
undo?
Or
And if that's the
maybe
case,
this is like he's coming to the end of his entity's life cycle or something. And
maybe. I
yeah.
mean, maybe this is John Delancey's swan
Hmm.
song,
Yeah.
and he's
But
like, Q is like, look, dude, I got one last thing I gotta teach you before
mm,
before I peace out.
yeah. Yeah. Seeing them together though was amazing. Seeing them like back and forth. It felt
They
like TNG.
Yeah, they have an amazing dynamic.
Yeah.
Um, so basically, Q's like, here, I'm gonna drop you in here with your friends. You guys have to figure it out, and I'll see you later. And they go back to Picard's chateau where his study is now like a trophy room.
Yeah,
And on
figuring out who he is in this reality.
That's right. So there's a big painting on the wall, which we've seen in the previews of a Galaxy class starship, basically kicking ass and taking names. And then they go through they show all these little these skulls on pedestals,
Yep.
and he goes through and he's like
All
you,
the previous enemies from
yeah, you killed
TNG
Gold
and people.
Dukat, you killed General Martok, you killed
Mhm.
the head of the Vulcan people.
Sarek.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, he killed Sarek with his son watching Spock.
yeah, I was like, wow, okay, how does that
Yeah.
work? Because Sarek, I was like, Sarek is really old. Like man, he really went to town on him. But hey, whatever. I was along for the ride. It was good to see, and then of course you see Picard like I don't know what the hell's going on. So he
Yeah.
plays the
This,
I'm just old
this,
and tired card.
but you can also tell he's getting more and more disgusted at who he is.
Mm.
Like that one guy said, "Oh, do you want me to? I know how you enjoy." Like he was about to say, like, "I know how you enjoy watching torture videos or something like that." Like,
Yep. And you could see he was like, oh, and then of course it's like, hey man, we're gonna take you off to San Francisco to see the president,
Yep.
so we could celebrate the eradication day. Like he's like, the what?
yep.
To be
And
honest with
now,
you, when I heard that, I thought maybe First Contact Day had been replaced with Eradication Day, because
Yeah.
like anybody who's seen the In a Mirror Darkly episodes of Enterprise, they retooled the opening sequence. Like, of course, the opening titles were completely retooled for those two episodes, but also they did they redid the First Contact scene from Star Trek First Contact, where Zephyr Cochrane meets with the Vulcans, and like they do the whole the whole Vulcan salute,
Yeah.
and he's like, he realizes that he can't do it, so he just reaches his hand out. Well, in this case, in the retooled one, he reaches in his jacket, pulls out a shotgun, and blows the Vulcan away. And I'm like, I wonder if that's what it is. But it
Yeah.
just turns out that it's a day where they effectively eradicate an enemy of the
Yeah.
Confederation, which in this case was going to be the captured Borg Queen.
Then we skip to 7 of 9 waking up
Yep.
without her Borg components.
And the computer referring to her by her human name, Annika,
Yeah.
or Annika, and I was like, ooh, okay. So I guess that she never got assimilated, of course.
Yeah.
But the Borg Queen, when she sees her, she knows who she
Yep.
is,
Yep.
which was cool. So she wakes up. She's like, "Oh, what's going on?" She sees herself. She uses logic to deduce that she is, that her faculties are in check.
Yeah.
She understands. Her brain's functioning. Her sense of smell, her hearing, her pain receptors, all that stuff are all working. She checks it out. And then dude comes rocking in. He's like, "Hey, honey, how you doing?" She's like, "Hey, what?" And so she figures out that she is the president of this confederation. I thought, ooh, where's this going to go?
Yeah.
So we have this. I guess if there was any real criticism from me of this episode, it would be that they all kind of figured out what was going on pretty fast.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I got to go find this person, that person. Rafi finds Elnor, and and
Yeah. She immediately contacts Rios.
Rios, yeah,
7 of 9. Yeah.
yeah, and then and of course her chief scientist is there,
Yeah.
figuring out how to eradicate the Borg and all the stuff, and they all know right away, and they're like, and everybody else is like, how did you know? Like, how? How did you know that? And nobody's like, oh no no yeah, like I mean, as they throw the flimsiest of excuses in there, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're college drinking buddies. Like,
Yeah.
you are a college drinking buddy of the president? I'm like, what? Wait a minute, come on, come on, pull the other leg, man. It's a little bit shorter,
Yeah.
and but still, you can forgive them
Yeah.
that. You can forgive.
Yeah.
You really can forgive them that, because
Then there.
we got
Yeah.
a series of episodes to roll out, and they've got a place to go to get to.
Yeah. So it wasn't too bad. I did like how he mentioned General Cisco.
Yeah, yeah. Give me something. I'll get General Cisco. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, no. Avery Brooks told us to f off.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. So that was a good note. And then, yeah, I thought the scientist girl. Shoot, I can't remember her name. I'm drawing a blank right now.
oh yeah,
Um.
and I tossed away
Uh,
my little post-it that had everybody's names on it.
yeah. I thought she was really good in this episode. Like her line, she was really funny. Especially when at the end when the guy came in, and she came up with all those lies really quickly, like on the reasons why they were all there.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, that that this whole thing, you knew it had to fall apart at some point. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man, they are totally getting past all of this stuff. Like yeah, I mean, you think that it's like, okay, everybody's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, well, we'll take that. We'll take that as that explanation, or you
Yeah.
know, whatever. That's fine.
I
And
just think I think that she's coming into her character now more as a comedy role, maybe.
oh, you mean like
Um,
so the character's name is Agnes Girardi,
yeah, yeah, Agnes Girardi, that's it. Yeah,
and
I think she's yeah, it's like all of her scenes now are all like comedic and comedy, and which is good. I think that fits her better. The first season, she was not likable at all. Um,
I wanna see her return
um,
to the role, the first role that I ever saw her portray, and that is
um,
of Kim in Scott Pilgrim. And
oh, that's right, she was.
right, she was
I
the
love.
drummer.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Oh my gosh, that was her.
I would love to see her like, oh yeah, Madam President.
Yeah,
We are Team Picard, and we're here to to sell out. It's like,
sell out it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that movie. It's such a great movie too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But don't get me wrong. I mean, look again. Most people, there's a lot of people would say, "Oh, that's so stupid. That's, that doesn't make any sense." Well, okay, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I'll give you that.
yeah,
But it's still a good story. Like, so far, you're
yeah.
invested enough.
Here.
You want to know where it's going.
Yeah, you want to know, and I'm entertained. It's definitely entertaining this season, way more than the last season.
Yeah, even my wife, who hated it more than I did,
Hmm.
said, "Wow, they actually did a lot better job of the doing things this season um, than they did last season." I felt like the story arc in the first season was too fragmented.
Yeah,
We had like you had these little pockets of characters, while at the same time you had these little subplots going on, and
and things were drawn out and
yeah, like
slow, and
you like the Romulans are doing this thing, and then the Romulans are taking on what's left of the Borg, and they're basically chopping them up for parts, and you got the subplot of Soji and Daj, who we find out are bio, I guess, well, yeah, biological fractal
androids basically.
clones of Data.
Yeah,
It's like, and then you got the whole Jat Vaj subplot with the Romulans hating things that are synthetic, and then the synthetics that create. I mean, like
yeah,
it's all over the map. Like we know, it's like reaching your hand in and pulling out a grab bag of
yeah,
of subplots. This time
yeah.
it's definitely a lot
It's
tighter.
yeah.
Definitely a
I
lot
was just
tighter.
about to say, yeah, it's much tighter. Did you also see that little We almost got introduced to Brent Spiner. Did you see the statue of him? And you could
Yes,
hear his
I
voice.
heard his voice, and I said that's
Yeah,
Brent Spiner's voice.
yeah. So I wonder if he's gonna be like
He will be back in this
he'll
in
be
this series
like
as a
probably playing Noonien Soon's son again or something.
yeah. He does
Just maybe
play a
in this
member of the
timeline.
Soong family. Um,
Yeah.
since I'm assuming that this season is going to take place largely in the 21st century,
Mhm.
he's going to be like an ancestor
Oh
of
yeah, yeah.
Soong.
Hmm.
They'll run into
Or he
some.
could be, yeah, yeah,
Maybe maybe this character that he plays is responsible for humanity's push towards accepting AI,
yeah, yeah.
which
We'll
then
see.
leads towards cybernetics
Mhm.
and then of course positronics and all that
Yeah,
stuff that we've seen in him, yeah, ad nauseum.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
Another great thing on the show was the Borg Queen. Man, she was great. Like
yeah,
seeing her trapped in there and just hearing her talk.
and then her knowing that Picard was Locutus and that
Oh
Seven of
yeah,
Nine was, Seven of Nine
yeah.
at tertiary adjunct unit of
She,
Matrix Zero, and like,
yeah, like she has. He brought her along for the ride with
yeah,
everyone else.
I'm kind of really curious as to what the logic on that one is, but
Mm.
I guess we'll find out as we go along.
It's probably yeah. It's one of Q's things where he just likes to a little bit of torture to Picard and knows it's going to torture him having her there.
Well, yeah, and that is makes brings up a very good point. Is he doing this truly to punish
Mm-hmm.
Picard for some transgression or perceived transgression, or is he really truly trying to teach? Is this a teachable moment?
Mm-hmm.
Is he doing something? Is he doing something the Q way that has a positive outcome? You think about the episode of TNG when Q has his powers stripped from him and everybody comes after him with a vengeance. While at the
Yeah,
same time, he's like, "Well, look, I can be a part of your crew. An IQ of 1,000." And you know, he kind of helps out. He's like, "Why don't you just change the physics of the moon?" And they're like, "We can't do that." Wait a minute, yeah, we can. What was I thinking? So yay, thanks, Mister Q, for your help. Um, and that was another thing. Who was it? Was it Rafi or was it Agnes who referred to him as Mister Alphabet?
oh, it was Rafi. Yeah, she called him Mr. Alphabet. Yeah,
um, so yeah, I mean, we we saw like everything kind of come together.
yeah,
They're all basically playing the odds.
yep.
To They figure out with the help of the Borg Queen that they are in a time divergence, and that she knows where the time diverged
Cracked. Yeah,
and where it happened. They don't know what happened, but they just know when and where. So they have to go find it. And
mm.
so she's kind of like, all right, cool, let's do our thing. Let's and
She's
everybody's like,
probably plotting her escape the whole
probably,
time.
yeah. Well, I mean, of course, they entice her. They entice
Yeah.
her with, well, look, you help us out, we'll take you back, and you can go hang out with your buddies in the Delta Quadrant, blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and you know,
Well, right before that, though, we do get to see an awesome scene with Elnor, which I couldn't believe they showed, but when he kicked those two guys' butts and then sliced that dude's throat, it
yeah, it's
was like,
like, yeah,
oh shit.
yeah, like wow, Elnor, dude has not lost his touch. But I mean, come on,
Seriously.
he's Romulan ninja. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what would you expect from him? I think it's so funny.
I,
He's
I just
like,
couldn't believe they showed that on a Star Trek show like that.
well, I
That was
mean, come
crazy.
on, we got them dropping the F bomb
Yeah,
on
the first
Discovery,
season.
so I'm not surprised anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, this is just color commentary on the whole direction that Star Trek has been taking over the last few years, and that is when I was younger, I loved, of course, I loved all the stories. I mean, I loved watching the original series, TNG, DS9, Voyager. Well, before the end of TNG, I had always been kind of vocal where I said I really would like to see a darker Star Trek. Like I'd like to see them pursue and explore a darker side of this universe. Now I'm like, I wish they would stop making everything so dark. It's like it's like it's like they got Zack Snyder in to direct, to do these episodes. It's like, I mean, like seriously, Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldsmith is they're like, you're like the anti what's his name? Oh, I'll tell you, I am having a terrible night with names. Jon Favreau, they're the opposite duo to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, wherein, I mean, okay, look, I'm not trying to be overly critical about it. I actually really am loving this story, but I like now they've got my appetite whet for Strange New Worlds, which comes out in about 6 weeks. And because that's supposed to be a return to the good old wagon train to the stars, space western stories, the adventure of the week. Whereas this is like, do you like your stories dark? I guess. Good, because this is Colombian roast black dark. Like, what? Wait a minute, man. And that's a little nod to the synthetic bringing Picard his drink.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's like, wow, what is this? He's like, it's Colombian roast, dark or black, like you like it. And he's like, I half expected him to say, no, get this pansy crap out of here. Get me some Earl Grey tea, hot, and just rip it out. But no. I think he knows he's not in Kansas anymore, so he has to kind of play as best he can.
Yeah.
What did you think? Okay, so
left on a giant cliffhanger.
Yeah, so they they all make their way to San Francisco. They have this Eradication Day ceremony where it's going to be Picard's job to basically blow away the Borg Queen and eradicate the Borg. He obviously is like, well, shit, we need to take her with us. They all talk before the ceremony, and they realize, well, okay, she knows we need to go back in time. She knows how to detect, chronomatrix particles, and so she can see or help guide them do the time travel. And they're like, well, they did it before, and they're like, yeah, but they had Spock, and like, well, yeah, but they have something even better than Spock. They have like over 100 years of data, and they have data, and they have the computers. So I'm sure they can go back and look at his log and says, oh, that's the formula he used. But no, they have a reason to bring the Borg Queen along for a ride. They they jumpstart her, plug her into the La Serena's computers, and they're like, all right, guys, let's go off to time travel. And it's like, no, you can't be that easily. They can't be that easily, So the president's husband shows up and
was
says,
suspecting something's wrong with her.
Something's not right, I just can't.
Have you psychoanalyzed?
Yeah, something's wrong with you, man. You've been telepathically compromised. Like, is that a thing? Is that really a thing?
Yeah.
I mean, is that like a real problem in this? You know what? I was going to go to college, but I got telepathically compromised. And like, guys, come on. All right, cool, whatever. Oh, go on, you crazy kids. Just have fun. And yeah, I mean, so he shows up. He's like, "You got something wrong with me, man. You're a traitor. All right, Picard, you're a traitor too. So we're gonna kill you and put your head on display and blah blah blah." Like, really, guys? Come on.
I can't wait for them to dispose of him somehow.
I hope they blow him out an airlock.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, Picard shows his true colors, and like half the guy teleports to one city and the other half teleports somewhere else, and
Yeah.
some poor rando just sees this pair of legs show up and like, oh, that's Picard again. Oh, that General Picard, he's a nut. Like,
Instead of the teleportation thing going up and down, it just goes sideways,
to
like
side.
top half.
And then there's just like a slight hint of blood that flows. Then you're like, ooh, that's gonna leave a mark.
Yep. They're already going that way.
Yeah. So overall, very impressed with the episode. Did enjoy. We'll be glad to see where they go with the next episode.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely, it was a great episode.
Yeah, I agree.
They're on their way, doing it, having a great season so far.
So yeah, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. So we'll see how it goes next week when we do this again. So Brandon, thanks again. You know, I think we had a great episode. We were able to very succinctly talk about this one this time, and and we're excited to see what comes up next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
So everybody, thank you very much for watching Treknicity. You can expect the future episodes to be about this length, roundaboutish the 30 to 35 minutes. So again, thank you very much for watching. We will see you next time, and remember to rock out, which is Spock out.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, well, you don't do that, man. That's like social media cancer. Like, please, sir, may I have a subscription, please? Oh,
please smash that like button.
Please hit the bell for notifications, please, sir. Oh, one other thing though, on Instagram we are approaching 100 followers, which I know 100 is nothing. It's a drop in the bucket for some people, but this is awesome because we're getting there all on our own. We don't have to do anything else. People are just signing on board, and we're very happy. So thanks again. We will see you next time.
Later.